What's happening, guys? I'm Kobe Chowan here with Craig McCoy, and welcome to our latest Tuesday training, where every week we bring to you a live training from lead gen and AI all the way to business planning and goal setting.
You have the new version and the old version. We collaborate to make it awesome.
If you want to join and jump on the next Tuesday training, join our school platform below. It's completely free. Click the link below, and we'll see you there. What's happening, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Nice to see you, TJ. Nice to see you, Sue. Sue's camera's on today. All right. Hope everybody had a good week. Craig, do we want to start with Tim? Or do you have anything to jump into?
Go for it. Run it.
Tim, you want to kick us off with some mortgage side of stuff? I think you are muted.
How about now?
Perfect.
Lost my voice. All right. Here's where we are right now. I have a little presentation. I'll just read from it instead so I can talk intelligently. If you guys have been following any kind of mortgage rates or obviously gas prices and so forth, you're going to notice that oil prices are very up. And because of that, oil prices are like $100 a barrel. They were like 56. That pushes up 10-year Treasury yields, which pushes up mortgage rates. So it's really just inflationary concern. And the only thing kind of saving our butts right now are the spreads kind of between are added to the yields. We'd probably be over 7 in the 8% range if our spreads weren't lowered. Luckily, they are lower right now. So to give you an idea of where we were or where we are right now, it's been a big jump up from a couple of weeks ago. On the same kind of 30-year fixed loan with a $700,000 purchase price, 20% down. At a no point loan, we're at 6.625. At about a point cost, we're at 6 and 3/8. On government stuff, no point loan is about 6 and an eighth, and a 1 point cost would put us about 5.75%. What's going to happen for rates to improve is oil prices fall back down. They're closer to $50, $60 a barrel. That's going to help the 10-year yield decline in the Treasury, and that should hopefully keep our spreads kind of compressed and allow rates to hopefully get back down to where we were as of a few weeks ago. That's the goal. In the meantime, Bill and I and Eddie, we're all here to kind of help your clients get pre-approved quickly, watch rates, lock them in when they get there. It's really volatile, so we have some good days and bad days. Hopefully kind of educate clients on how to structure things or help you guys structure things in a different way, whether it's a sell or a purchase. And, rates are volatile, opportunities there. Let us know how we can help, and we're happy to do so.
Oh, I got you now. Sorry.
And that's all I got.
Over the past, call it month, like we were dipping down in the high fives, obviously
Yep.
at one point, and now we're up at 6.625.
Yeah, that's where we are. We're easily up. We had a big swing last week. Rates went up like 3/8 in one day, just from the morning open. All it takes is some job owning between whatever president or whomever, and it can just make things go high or it can go low. Yesterday, things were looking good because they thought we're going to hold off and have 5 or 6 days of no bombing and so forth. The problem is you have other countries like Israel and everything else involved. They're like, well, we're going to do our thing anyways. So that kind of defeats what we're saying on our side in the US. So it's just a lot of volatility right now. I'm hoping this is temporary, obviously. In the meantime, though, I've had clients who were holding up on refinancing. I told them not to wait, and now they're calling me. I'm like, well, we're going to have to wait a bit because we're, half a point higher than we were just 3 or 4 weeks ago.
So can you
And
talk
you-
about that in terms of money? So let's say you have a client that is going to buy $1 million home. Let's do a million and, well, I guess just a million, and then I can do multipliers myself.
Yeah. So we're talking about payment wise?
20% down, $1 million home.
Right.
It's kind of funny. Where can you find $1 million home? But let's maybe do 20% down. Yeah, $1 million home. And what is
Right.
going to be the increase in rate from the 5.99 that we had to the
Gotcha.
6.8 that we have?
Right. So on a 30-year fix, 599 at $800,000 loan, the payment's about $4,800. And let's do a payment at we'll do 6.5%. We'll do 0.5%. Makes payment like hold on. I used the wrong number in there. 800,000. Makes payment like 5,000, $100. So it's a difference of from $4,800 to $5,100. So it's $300-400 a month. You can have that just on that solid 0.5% rate on an $800,000 loan.
And so somebody who's kind of cutting close already with DTI, that would obviously put them.
Yeah, it definitely a lot of it either makes sense or of course DTI for sure. For people who are kind of floating right now, it's like you don't want to lock right away, but this is a real tough market to give people advice on. So it's like when people are looking at places, and I'm really quick to give them interest rates. I go, hey, by the way, this is today. It could change later today, better or worse, or overnight, better or worse. It just that's how volatile it is right now.
I have another question.
Yep.
You mentioned at one point the interest rate is how much?
We were down below under 6 on pretty much all our stuff, probably in the fives.
So 1 point on a $1 million home, what does that cost the buyer? Because somehow maybe I can write that into that the seller.
Yeah. Well,
Is that a yearly
That's
thing or
over
is that a one-time
2.2
thing?
million.
yeah. So at one point that when we talk about points, it's on the loan amount. So 1 point is 1%. So it's not really the purchase price, it's the amount financed. So someone is paying 1 point on a loan. If it's a 500,000 loan, that costs them $5,000 in origination fee. $800,000 loan, that costs them $8,000. So it's a percent of the loan amount is how points will work. Whether it's a 0.5 point, 1 point, 1.5 points, that's the dollar amount. So obviously a seller credit would be great. Temporary buy downs, whether it's 2 year or 1 year, is not a bad thing right now. A buy down has to do with whatever the note rate is right now, but say 6.5%. If it's a 2-1 buy down, well, the first year it's 4.5%, the second year is 5.5%, and then it goes up to the real note rate. And the way you figure out what the buy down cost is how much the difference in the payment is. That's for Bill and I or Eddie to kind of give you examples. And that might be a good idea in some markets is temporarily help the buyer, absorb the payment a little more. They're going to qualify at the higher rate, but at least in the mid while rates are a little high right now, for 1 or 2 years, they can at least have a lower rate. And then if things change going forward, they can always do refinance and bring the rate back down to permanently where it was, not even 4 or 5 weeks ago. Those are some different approaches.
I realize you guys talk about buy downs and 2-1s. And when you have a new buyer, the last thing I want to do is for myself is to stick somebody into that just because a year goes by so fast. But specifically, when you talk about the 1% based on the loan amount, I'm just going to say the loan amount is $1 million. I understand that. The purchase price may be 1.5, but if the loan amount is $1 million and it's a 5 and it's 1%, to
That's
get the seller to
$10,000.
pay it, it brings down it brings down their interest rate to a 5.75 for the life of the loan or for a period of time.
No. The buy down, it's called a temporary buy down.
Okay.
So it's either we can do it for 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. There's different ways you can structure it. It costs the seller more or the agents more because the seller or the agents are the only ones who can pay for this buy down.
Okay.
And the duration of or how long it is will determine how much that buy down is. If you afterwards, I can give you some examples of how that would look on a certain purchase price, or
Okay.
Bill can, or whoever. We can kind of just show you a few ways to do that. If you have
Okay.
some clients in mind or what you kind of run into, we can at least sort of give you an idea of how the buy down will work, what the cost would be that you would then have to try to pass on to the seller in that situation.
Okay. I have a listing coming up, so that's what I'm thinking about in my
Okay.
mind. Because right now at the $1 million point, it's really screwing that buyer more than the person who has a ton of cash. So that's good.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah, we can give some examples for you
Hold on,
and show you how to structure it.
Great. Thank you.
Hold on, sir.
Yeah, I was gonna add to that. The 2-1 buy down right now with the rate environment where it is with things going up. The idea on this is to give somebody, you don't say, okay, well, if the real rate is 6.5% and they're going to get 4.5% in the first year, it's really important that we talk to them and say, hey, look, probably not going to refinance into a 4.5% rate within the next 12 months. That initial payment is going to go up, but there is probably, I think, a real chance that within the next 2 years we can get you into a fixed rate of 5.5%. So that's kind of the payment we're talking about. We're not going to let people go into this blind feeling like, oh, okay, I can afford this, but I can't afford the next step up. So it's really important that we have that conversation. And that was what I wanted to touch on too. It's, when you have a buyer who comes in, I've had a couple instances where they just want to email or they just want to text. Please impart to your buyers that it's really important that we get on the phone and have a conversation, because there's a lot of different ways that we can structure these loan programs. You can set it up with a long-term buy down. When the rates are low, it might make sense to actually pay the points, right? That 1 point that you're paying, that $8,000 on an $800,000 loan, that's probably going to lower the interest rate by 0.375% or maybe a 0.5%, depending on where things are at. um you know at a time where rates are up, it doesn't make much sense to do that, because they're probably going to refinance that loan within 2 years. So if the 0.5% saves you $300 a month, well, we'll call it $200 a month, $300 a month, let's just say that, but it costs you $8,000 to get that 0.5%. How long is it going to take for that $300 to catch up with the $8,000 you've spent to get the lower rate? That's the way that we want to look at it. Of course, and then also when somebody's moving into a house, they're going to have expenses coming up as well. So that first year at 4.5% on the temporary buy down, that's a part of the conversation. Like, look, we know you're going to be buying furniture, you're going to be getting your house together, you're going to have some extra expenses in this first year. So that's what this relief is for. And then hopefully we can lock you in at the 5.5, or maybe even something lower if things go our way. Um, but it's the conversation with the client is really, really important, because we do have different ways to structure. Some people they're like, oh, I'm going to put down 20%, and they're stuck on that, but maybe all they have is 22% total. So they're not leaving themselves with much extra room. Maybe they put down 15% instead, and that saves them a little bit extra money. The PMI on 15%, on an $800,000 loan is $50 a month, $60 a month. It's not very much. So if you're talking about 5% of $1 million, that's $50,000. Is it worth it to pay an extra $50 to hold on to $50,000 in savings? It might be, but there's a lot of different ways that we can structure these things. And so it's really important for us to get a feel for what the client's needs are, where, what is really the most important thing to them. And then we'll put the loan together in a way that makes sense for their particular situation, and have a conversation explaining that as well. Because, if we're just blindly going again, a lot of times people are talking to more than one loan officer, which is totally cool. If it were me, I'm talking to 3 different people buying my own home, but if we don't have a chance to kind of discuss the differences, they might be selling themselves short. So that was what I wanted to touch on today. Like, give us the opportunity to speak to these people, and we'll lay out the best thing that we have for them. We'll try to help them understand what the best sort of structure is for them, and if that's with us, great. It probably will be, but if not, then at least they know what the good course of action is for them going forward. That's what I wanted to touch on today.
Thank you, guys. Craig, did you have some stuff you wanted to run through?
Yep, I have to get off here in a second. I'll let Kobe close it down here with you guys. But I've been messing around a little bit with ChatGPT, and I created a couple GPT bots for the most part. One's like a coaching one, one's like a link compliance one. And so, I don't know if you guys are familiar with these GPTs or these bots, but I've downloaded pretty much all of the DRE rules, requirements, laws. Our MLS is going to be CRMLS, so it's going to be specific to us, but compliance manuals, policies and procedures, and a bunch of things into this bot. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, you want to mess around with this, by all means, try that. And I also have a coaching one where I've lined out all kinds of different things in a coaching module and uploaded all these into like a coaching version of that same thing. So this is a new world for me. These new kids might laugh, but I spent like 2 days messing with these bots, because I can upload all this information into these, and then really when you guys ask questions, it's specific to it. So if you wanted to cold call with scripts, role play, that coaching bot should have all these things built into it. If you have questions about daily schedules, what you should be doing for strategies, systems, all that I've put into this the back end of this bot. So feel free. I just put those in the link. Check those out, mess around, play with them. Cool. I'll see if Mallory can send these out in an email to everybody. And then I have a quick little back to our book club thing, a version of manifestation and goal setting and structures and all that kind of stuff. There's two documents in this chat. Check those out. The new agent handbook is not just for new agents. It's really just a line out of a lot of things that we should be doing as agents on a daily basis. And so again, I'm just messing around with a few things, throwing things out to you guys. If you like these, great. I'm in the process of writing a pretty long, detailed, call it an ebook. And I'll try to get that out to you guys next week. But I'm just trying to put a lot of things together that hopefully will help you guys. There'll be quick reads, or hopefully you'll take these quick reads into like a daily schedule for you. And if they're helpful, sweet. If they're not, just delete them. But I'm just trying to do more. And so if I can do more for you guys, fill me in on what you guys think. If it's great, great. If it's not, just say, hey, that was lame. But I'm trying. So I got to jump, but Kobe can close her down.
Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for sending it over.
Thank you.
I think, does anybody not know what like the custom GPT is and how to create them? And or does anybody want me to kind of touch on what they are and how you could utilize them? Anybody?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to share one that we built just to give you guys kind of like a use case on how cool they are and what you can use them for. So Craig obviously sent you them. If you guys have a ChatGPT account, you go into ChatGPT, there's GPTs, you can click on the Explore. We created one for Hattrick that is all around SEO optimization, blog posts, social media posts. And so in essence, what you do is you like pre-prompt it with a ton of your brand, your voice, who you want it to appeal to. So ours, we pre-prompted it with, we want you to be our SEO, in-house content creator, SEO guide, and blog poster. Our ideal target is buyers and sellers in North County, San Diego. When you're writing blogs, keep the buyer and seller's intent in mind. What are people that are looking to buy or sell a house in San Diego going to be searching? It asks you a ton of questions that like you could, I guess, answer, and it'll help you kind of fill this out if you ask it to. When you go into edit them, you can see there's like a configure, what the name is, what the description is, what the instructions are for it. And once again, you don't have to learn how to do this. I could send you guys these exact specifications and instructions that we gave it so that you guys could play with it yourself. But once you have created it, if anybody's used ChatGPT a lot, every time you start a new chat, you have to like re-prompt it, re-explain what you want its mission to be. This is a shortcut so that you don't have to do that every single time, and it remembers everything you want to tell it so that when you share it with somebody else or if you share it with yourself, I just use this for myself all the time. I come in here, I open a new chat for it, and I could create a neighborhood page into our Hattrick real estate website. So I could say I want a new neighborhood page for our website, highlight Carlsbad, and then give me a blog post about the top things in Carlsbad. It's not going to ask me like, what is Carlsbad? What is your team? Who are you guys? What brand do you want this to showcase to? And what's the voice you want it to have? It'll also create the content itself into the segments that Luxury Presence takes it in as. And so it has a body for every single one, has the SEO title for everyone, has the metadata for every single one. And it will go do all my research for me and then put it together in a way that I write it. So I uploaded like 10 of our old blog posts and it said, copy this voice, copy this brand, copy this style. And these are the 4 or 5 deliverables I need every single time I want you guys to do something. I did the same thing for like new agent bios and for new blog posts, and it will just save you a lot of time when you're doing it on a day-to-day. And so yeah, I recommend everybody doing these. It gives me option A for more aggressive SEO. It'll do the short description that we need, full content for the page. We'll go through, write all this out, and they'll give me an option B that's a little bit less aggressive on the SEO, a little bit more friendly for just more casual reading, I guess. And then we'll link everything out on our website itself. If you come into here and you go down to our blogs, you could see some of the ones we actually do. And once again, these are all written by ChatGPT at the end of the day, or mainly by it. So it's optimized for SEO. We'll link out some of the social media stuff we've been doing, some of the restaurant reviews and whatnot. And then for those who have been here for the last couple of months, we'll tie this in then with what our actual follow-up emails are, what our drip campaigns are. When we meet somebody at open house, we're sending them these links and these blog posts and about different areas that we've gone and reviewed to make ourselves feel a little bit more local. So um, very brief on that, but that's what the GPTs are used for. So the ones that Craig has been putting together are just a lot of questions he's been getting asked on a day to day, how to time block better, how to do cold call scripts, how does link fit? What is the link differentiator? If you have a question about CRMLS or MLS or link in general, you can kind of ask these and play around with these GPTs. And I definitely recommend everybody going out and building their own. It's a really quick and easy way to save a lot of time on your workflows. If you want to make one just for property descriptions and social media posts and social media content or social media ideas, go in, ask ChatGPT. I want to create my own custom GPT for social media. My name is so and so. This is all about me. These are my goals. Ask me, and you can ask it to ask me all the questions you need to create the instructions for creating my own custom GPT. And it'll do it all for you. Michael, do you have anything to input on that? I know you use it a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I've done. I've got 4 or 5 GPTs right now. But the main one I just rewrote my buyer's guide, my seller's guide, and then redid uh, or made from scratch a pre-foreclosure guide. And then the title company is going to print them for me, and then I've got them on flip books from Pablo or however you pronounce it. And so, when people come into an open house, we'll like this weekend, I'll have a buyer's guide, a seller's guide, hopefully a pre-foreclosure guide. I've also got those for listing appointments and buyer appointments. And so and once you like make one, I just keep that thread. So when I redid my buyer's guide, I kept that same thread to do the seller's guide and the pre-foreclosure guide because it was already used to my style of writing. And that's all within the Hankerson team GPT. But when you get into writing guides, there's things that it tries to do that I don't like at all. So you kind of argue with it through the first guide, and then the second and the third guide are much easier. So like that pre-foreclosure guide, I was able to get a 12-page guide done in a few hours. Still had to argue with it a little bit, but not so much because it already understood what I was looking for. And so, yeah, and I did one also for coaching, kind of like what Craig did. And I took a 400-page document from a company I used to work for. It was basically their mentorship program. And then I changed all of the name of that company to Link Brokerages. And then I uploaded that into a thing. I haven't done anything with it yet, but I was thinking at some point in time, I kind of wanted to create some type of a coaching mentorship thing that was more condensed and more spot on. So I'll go ahead and upload that document to Google Drive and send you, Craig and Andrew, a link to it. So if you want to use it for anything you're doing, you can.
Awesome. I appreciate it. And yeah, to kind of wrap up the GPT or the custom GPT conversation, it also is super helpful if you're going to be going back to something multiple times. And so if it's something you want to do on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, you want to constantly write newsletters or blog posts or push content out, it just keeps the conversation a lot cleaner. And so if you guys have ever used ChatGPT and tried to use one chat for too long, it starts hallucinating and starts kind of merging your conversations, and you're going to be writing a blog post and a social media post, and it's going to get confused on which one you actually want it to do. So it's a way to just kind of clean it up, keep it concise,
for anything that's going to be repeatable moving forward. So if anybody needs help with that, obviously I'm here, Andrew's here, Tyler's here, Dylan's here. We've all done it and use it, and we use it on our day-to-day all the time. So if anybody wants to jump on or do a quick one-on-one Zoom, I'm more than happy to kind of walk you guys through exactly how to use it and how we use it and some use cases you guys might be able to use it for.
Yeah, one thing, if you don't want to use it for too extreme of examples, like what Kobe's saying, if you're not writing blog posts, if you're not, creating coaching programs or the buyers and sellers guides, some simple things, day-to-day things that we've used it for is just listing descriptions. Like we created one just so it has the same voice every time. So anytime Kobe and I have a listing, I put it into the one that we built. It knows exactly what kind of language we want to use. It knows not to use certain words. Like anytime you go to a listing and it's brand new, you can tell when someone used ChatGPT for it. And it's kind of a turn off because you can assume that that agent probably didn't even read through that entire thing. So we create our own custom one that specifically tells the program what to say, what not to say, what, commas, different like punctuations to use so that it comes off natural, comes off human, and kind of like gives us our whole kind of vibe and voice. Also, we use it for showing buyers, like if you are going to be sending, I don't know, touring multiple properties at once, we usually like to send like a list or a schedule with highlights of that of each property. And so you can create one as well for that, where it's like, here are the highlights that we're going through. Here's the address, what to look out for, that kind of stuff. So simpler ways to actually use it if you don't want to go, as far as creating these different guides and things like that.
Thanks, Andrew.
Just thought I'd chime in for you, Kobe. Also, I don't know why my name is still yours.
What
I've tried to log out
what
multiple
did
times.
What
sorry,
was
I
that?
have a question. What did
Yeah.
Michael say he uses the title company for? What would the title company do with his
The title company will they've got they changed what they're doing where they used to charge me like a really inexpensive fee to print these 40-page books. They've got a RESPA thing that's going on right now where they don't charge you anymore, but you have to co-brand it. And I give them enough business that they basically are printing a 40-page book where they have one page dedicated to them and I've got 39 pages dedicated to me. And then the same thing is true with the 12-page book and the 24-page book. And so it's just a way to get a really nice book printed on really good paper for free.
Cannot do it in California. Title companies can't do anything for you in California.
Okay.
got
Well,
it,
and
got it. Okay.
I'm sure it's a, they may not be able to do it for me much longer either, but at least for right now, this is their solution.
Yeah, there's a ton of rules around even like what our escrow company can do. So even though it's linked escrow and obviously our relationship with them, we can't even like buy one of our own agents lunch out of the escrow company. There's obviously a ton of rules and regulations around that. So I think Arizona's gonna be a little bit more lax on some of the California rules with title. And so hopefully it stays that way so you can keep getting some free books.
Yeah, take advantage of that one. Last question, sorry.
Yeah.
So when like this stuff on ChatGPT, do you have to do something to save it or does it save automatically?
Saves automatically once it's been created. So let me show you one more time really quick.
Paid accounts save automatically. I don't know if non-paid accounts save automatically. And non-paid accounts, you can only do like 5 to 10 times in a day and then it cuts you off.
Yes. And so when we are creating them, um, it's creating the GPT itself. And so once you create it, I come in here and I can click create. It's going to ask me a whole bunch of questions, like how I'm going to create it. Once I've saved it and published it, it just lives here forever. And so I can come into here and click and explore GPTs, my GPTs, and then you can edit it if you want, or it just sits here forever. And so it's going to be saved until I make any changes to it. And it's going to work exactly how it should work. If I want to do like our Road to 90, we were doing blog posts, neighbor pages, SEO optimized pages. It will all be saved for you and created there.
Got it. Thanks.
Yes.
Kobe, with that, I have a question if you don't mind as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I love chat, whatever, GPT.
Yeah.
I also use Copilot. I also use Claude,
Mhm.
and I also use Gemini. I guess my question is, do you have one that you really think is the best one to use for this business?
I think ChatGPT is the easiest and it's the cleanest to like use. I know Craig's been using Claude a lot for like more like deep thinking stuff. If it's like blog posts and social media content and whatnot, I think ChatGPT is perfectly fine. If it's like writing a 400-page document and or doing like market research, I'd probably use Claude.
Okay, all right.
And that's me not knowing too much about all of them. ChatGPT being the easiest to use and has been great for me so far.
Yeah, I just wanted to know kind of like where to allocate my focus, I guess.
Yeah, I would just pick one and stick with it. They're all going to be fairly similar too for the real estate side of stuff.
Okay, copy that. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Any other questions around that? That wasn't necessarily going to be what today was about, but I like where it went. Um, and if no other questions, I guess kind of questions for you guys. So I know Craig had just kind of sent out those couple docs and the GPTs. I believe last week we kind of touched on starting to doing more in-person events and didn't really get any feedback from anybody afterwards on what you guys want to be doing. So we're going to throw out just some dates and times. And if anybody's open to giving suggestions on what they would like to do and where they would like to do it, right now would be greatly appreciated so we get something on the books and we don't just keep talking about it theoretically. So we're hoping that sometime that towards the end of April we'll do our first official kind of link meetup meeting, Tuesday training, call it what you will. Um, does anybody have any suggestions on where that could be taking place at? Should it be in just one of our offices? Should it be at a brewery? Should it be at a Padres game? Should it be something that's more fun and event-like? Or do you guys want to like sit in the classroom and like fill out books and workbooks and business plans? Um, and maybe there's a combination of both, but we want to see you guys. We want to be face to face with you guys, not just on this camera. So, any suggestions for towards the end of April event?
I guess I'm just confused because there's people on this call from different places. So I just don't, unlike a lot of people when they do real estate, we'll just use an example for Compass West. They're
Yeah.
in Carlsbad. They go to that office. They live within 20 miles of it. I feel like we're just so spread out. Hey, look, I'm all in for a Padres game. I'm all in for a beach trip. I'm all in for a brewery. Make the date. I'll come. But I'm just trying to figure out like where your agents are, especially on this that continuously show up on these Tuesday meetings, and then how does that play into the cards?
So our thought is we'll be bouncing around quite a bit. And so knowing that not everybody's going to show up to every single one of them, we'll do one in call it end of April down in San Diego, then one out in Canyon Lake, and then one up in Orange County. And then like I know Jamie's coming out to San Diego this week, so we're finally gonna be able to meet her, which is great. We'll make our way up to Scottsdale and meet with the Scottsdale and Phoenix agents. So we'll kind of bounce around, and that's what we're going back and forth with. Is there a way to do it in person, but still virtually so people can listen in and watch in? Or should we just say, here's our different locations, and once a month we're going to go bounce to the major areas, and so San Diego, then LA, then Orange County, then Riverside, and then Arizona and whatnot, and whoever can make it can make it.
As long as I have plenty of notice, I would love to
Yeah.
join for whatever we do plan to come back out again.
Perfect.
Yes,
I
I think
think
that joining would be great, as so long as, yeah, if there's notice and if there's a way to incorporate people being able to join virtually as well, so that nobody would feel left out, but you would
Yeah.
also see, a few people there in the group and they'd be doing stuff, and then other people would be still online. I think it could really work for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, like maybe you could like start it off in the office with a Zoom and then, for whoever's there, like go out and do like mini golf or some activity or something cool.
Okay. So like more of a first 30 minutes to an hour, not like presentation, but like a workshop, and then all head over to dinner or
Yeah.
happy hour after.
Yeah.
How about do a Google Doc? Send out a Google Docs with some dates and some ideas, and let's see what people can get together. Because face to face would be fantastic. And for those who can't, then they can put on that they're only. Some people may have kids at home and can only do Zoom or something in the evening or late. But maybe Google Doc it out to us in an email, and do it regionally. Do it, Scottsdale area. Do it San Diego area, and break it up. I don't know, Jersey, wherever.
I know Florida's a little far.
Yeah. Maybe later this year we'll head out that way.
Hi, I'm Nikki, and
I
I'm out
say,
in.
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Vanessa. Go ahead.
I was just gonna suggestions, office, winery, beach. I'm down for that.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Hi,
second
Kobe.
it. Those are good ideas.
Kobe, I know I'm in North Carolina, so if anybody's in, I don't know how y'all would want to do in North Carolina. If we would meet someplace, gather someplace like that, or like you said, do the first 30 minutes in a workshop where, because when you think about going out to a place, you got the background noises
Yeah.
for that part of the meeting, for us that are on virtual, so that we'll be able to hear. Because like the glass, you can hear the dishes clinging
Yeah.
easily.
100%.
But I don't know if anybody in Charlotte, North Carolina, or Rock Hill that is a part of Link. I don't mind meeting up with them where we could do something of the similarity, even though we won't be there with y'all no more than virtual. So I just wanted to put that out there.
It can at least be kind of grouped up, and so the
Yeah.
edges could still get together and do their call. If we're doing like a mid-year business planning, they all do it
Exactly.
together and then head out together with that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. And we can go to a brewery there's plenty to do in Charlotte. So whatever they feel like gathering at, I'll be more than happy to
All right.
collaborate and meet with them. So
Perfect. I appreciate that.
Sounds
Sue,
like
looks like you have something to add. No. What were you saying, Andrew?
it sounds like people are not trying to do any in-office business plan filling out. They want to just
They said breweries and wineries and the beach.
which we're all about.
No, this Tuesday is enough in office.
No, that's okay. Hey, we don't we can treat the in-person ones as less of like workshopping, more of just like, face to face.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do awards. What if it's an award thing? And we go to whoever we're giving the award to.
That's cool.
That sounds like a good thing for your next content day, but just get us together. And I have a couple extra boogie boards. I don't know.
Well, you could have joined us on the jet skis, but you didn't.
Yeah. Next time.
All right, sweet. Well, I'll follow this up with an email. Sue's idea of kind of just getting everybody's feedback. Thank you for everybody who kind of did share right now. By next week, we'll try to have something more on the books, an actual date, an actual event, if you will. And we'll try to keep them pretty planned out. So give you guys more of a few months heads up instead of, hey, this Friday, we're going to go do something. So,
Kobe, before we get off, can I ask the question to everybody just out there in reference to real estate? Do people feel like these interest rates have really slowed things down? Do they feel like the spring market is actually booming and they're doing okay? Can I just get some, feedback?
I picked up here in Florida. I've went from no showings to all of a sudden I'm getting showings. I have one under contract closing the 31st of this month, which I've had on the market 400 something days. We rented. We had it rented and then we extended it and then they moved back to California. So I got that under contract, but I have a couple other townhomes that are having showings now. So I feel like people are, looking and maybe thinking of pulling the trigger now, that because they're seeing rates go up, they're like, hey, we better jump on this now. So
anybody else?
Yeah, on my end, as far as taking loan applications, putting out pre-approvals, it's I haven't seen much of a slowdown, to be honest. I feel like the early spring has it feels like it hasn't caught on. People haven't caught it yet, but we're still kind of working on the same pace.
Yeah, I guess on a macro level, just Link in general, closings have definitely picked up, openings have picked up a lot in March. And so compared to January and February, it was just across all states, across all regions, counties, whatnot. Definitely a slower winter than normal. And March has really picked up. So we're seeing a lot more listings going into contract, and a lot more of our agents representing buyers. Obviously, it looks like, yeah, with Bill and Tim too, a lot of more refis are coming in on the escrow side as well. So I think it's gonna be a good few months
Yeah.
as soon as we figure out all these interest rate things. All right, sweet. Well, we will see you guys next Tuesday then. Is there any other questions, comments, concerns before we jump off? But if not, I'll send out that kind of questionnaire, get some ideas for next events, and we'll see you guys all next Tuesday.
Kobe, are y'all having the Wednesday what you call it?
Office
Phone
hours?
calling?
Yes.
Okay.
Office hours will still be tomorrow with me and Andrew for any of the cold outreach you guys want to learn about. So that's all in the school community as well. If you go onto the calendar, all the links to all the Zoom office hours are on
Okay. Thank you.
that. Of course.
Can you include the link? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you
Yes.
include the files and links that Craig sent in that email?
Yes.
And I was gonna add with the office, it would be nice to have something focused for whatever, each meetup. So whether it's like role playing and scripts or getting something done, yeah, it would be nice.
Okay. So kind of high level point for the meeting, some sort of training that rolls into, yeah, like more of a social hour.
Right.
Perfect. All right. We'll plan for something like that. All right. Have a good week, everybody. See you guys soon. And yes,
You
I'll send all that
guys,
stuff.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
bye bye.